Good morning, class.
Good morning.
My name is Dr. Catherine Smith. I'll be your moderator for this class session. Welcome to the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research. This is a school and not a church, and neither are we affiliated with any religious organization. This school is a non-profit, non-denominational, religious and scientific research organization dedicated to showing proof of the existence of Yahweh, our Elohim, and the operation of His eternal purpose, pattern, and plan operating throughout eternity to this present day. This school was established as a result of a divine vision and revelation given to our founder, Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley, in the state of Ohio in the year 1931. We were incorporated in the state of California in the year 1958. Since that time, we have established branch schools throughout the United States, Canada, and certain other foreign countries. The Memphis branch was established in 1973. In this school, we use the true, correct, and original name and title of the Father, the Word, our Son, and the Holy Spirit as contained in the original Hebrew text. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. This has been improperly substituted with Lord. The true title of the Word, our Son, is Elohim. This has been improperly substituted with God. The name of the Holy Spirit manifested in or out of a physical body is Yahshua. This has been erroneously substituted with Jesus Christ. Lord and God are titles and not names. The Apostle Paul, filled with the Holy Spirit, tells us in 1 Corinthians 8 and 5 that there are Lords many and Gods many. But we now know that each Lord must have a name and each God must have a name also. Elohim is a title, but unlike Lord and God, Elohim is a divine title. That means Elohim is the title that our Creator chose for Himself. Jesus is a name, but it is an erroneous name. A minor investigation on your part in a good dictionary or encyclopedia will prove that neither the Hebrew language, the Greek language, nor the Latin language have any characters or letters in their alphabet that would produce the sound that's made by this letter J. Neither was there a letter J in the English language until some 1600 years after the Messiah's death. Therefore, such names as Jesus and Jehovah are impossible renderings of the true and original name of our Father and His Son. Christ is a title just like Lord and God. Yahweh is pure spirit, and in this state He is incomprehensible, inscrutable, and indiscernible. He is the ultimate source, substance, limits, and bounds of everything. We have Yahweh in His pure spirit state symbolized on this chart as a cloud. Now, Yahweh is not a cloud. He merely chose a cloud to symbolize Himself because a cloud has no particular or descriptive shape or form. We've drawn this cloud all around the edges of this chart to show you that everything on this chart is within the cloud. In like manner, everything in the universe abides within the pure spirit state of Yahweh. Yahweh, knowing that man could not perceive of him in this pure spirit state, took on shape and took on form right within himself as Yahweh Elohim. This is the Word or Son, a superincorporeal being, that is, having the shape and form of a man, but without flesh and blood. This form can only be seen in divine vision and understood in divine revelation. Later on, this self-same spirit manifested himself in a physical body and walked the earth plane as Yahshua the Messiah, whom the world calls Jesus Christ. Now, there is only one name given unto salvation, and we must know that name. So the simple yet intelligent question we should ask ourselves is, what was the name of the Savior during the time he walked the earth plane? A further understanding of this name and title may be had by reading the preface of the Holy Name Bible. Also in this school, we teach by divine pattern of the universe. It is called a divine pattern because it is Yahweh's pattern. After Yahweh led the children of Israel up out of the land of Egypt, he called Moses atop Mount Sinai and showed him the tabernacle pattern in a vision. Yahweh instructed Moses to build one exactly like it in the wilderness of Sinai. This pattern consisted of a most holy place, and court round about. These three compartments making up the one tabernacle pattern. In this school, we show proof how that everything in the universe is made and operates according to the structure and the function of this threefold tabernacle pattern, and that absolutely nothing escapes the pattern. We have 10 primary aims or constitution objectives of the Institute, and they are as follows. First is to help you find and know Yahweh, our Elohim, as he really is and actually exists. Second, to form a nucleus of universal brotherhood of humanity in Yahshua the Messiah without distinction of race, nationality, creed, set, caste, or color. Third, to investigate the unexplained spirit law, or so-called law of nature and the powers latent in man. Fourth, to encourage and promote the study of the scriptures, comparative religion, psychology, philosophy, both modern, practical, and occult science. Fifth, to extirpate current superstitions, skepticism, and ignorance. Sixth, to learn, know, and understand the operation of Yahweh's eternal purpose through the dispensations and ages. Seventh, to discern and avoid being deceived by Lucifer, the serpent, the devil, the dragon, or Satan and his demons operating the mystery of iniquity on earth through the dispensation of time. Eighth is to earnestly contend for the common salvation and faith, which was once delivered unto the sons or children of Yahweh. Ninth is to make known that Yahweh from the beginning ordained there is none other name given among men whereby man can be saved, saving the name of Yahshua the Messiah. 10th, to inherit eternal life now in the kingdom of Yahshua the Messiah with the hope of immortal glorification in the new earth state. Our watchword is peace. Slogan, speak the truth. We'll have prayer by Dr. Jessica Hamilton. Our scripture lesson is 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, read by Dr. Rodney Hamilton.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, it's great to be back. To bow our hearts and minds. Thank Elohim for Yahweh for bringing us here today, because he sure didn't have to. I want to pray for let's pray for the ones that can't be here today and the ones that don't know yet. May we learn what we're supposed to be taught today in the name of Yahshua the Messiah. Let the body say hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Good morning.
I'll be reading from the Holy Name Bible containing the Holy Name versions of the Old and New Testament, critically compared with ancient authorities in various manuscripts, revised by A.B. Traynor, the Scripture Research Association, Incorporated, reprinted by Yahshua Promotions. 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of Elohim, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven. If so be that being clothed we shall not be found naked. For we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life. Now he that hath wrought us for the self-same thing is Elohim, who also hath given unto us the pledge of the Spirit. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, we are absent from Yahweh. For we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with Yahweh. Wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent, we may be accepted by him. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of the Messiah, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. Knowing therefore the terror of Yahweh, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto Yahweh. And I trust also are we made manifest in your consciousness. For we command not ourselves again unto you, but give you occasion to glory on our behalf, that ye may have somewhat to answer them which glory in appearance and not in heart. For if we be beside ourselves, it is to Elohim, and if we be sober, it is for our cause. For the love of the Messiah constraineth us, because we thus judge that if one died for all, then were all dead, and that he died for all, that they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves, but unto him which died for them, and rose again. Wherefore henceforth know we no man after the flesh. Yea, we have known the Messiah after the flesh, yet now henceforth know we him no more. Therefore if any man be in the Messiah, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. And all things are of Yahweh, who hath reconciled us to himself by Yahshua the Messiah, and hath given to us the ministry of reconciliation, to wit, that Yahweh was in the Messiah, reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing their trespasses unto them, and hath committed unto us the word of reconciliation. Now then, we are ambassadors for the Messiah, as though Elohim did beseech you by us. We pray you in the Messiah's stead, be ye reconciled to Yahweh, for he hath made him to be sin offering for us, who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of Yahweh in him. I read the entire chapter, 2 Corinthians, 5th chapter. I say hallelujah.
Hallelujah. The floor is now open to anyone who have a testimony or something that they would like to share with the class since being in attendance.
Good morning, class.
Good morning.
I just want to thank Yahshua for allowing me to be here this morning and helping me to be obedient and to be able to come out and to talk about anything that he has shown me. I was just thinking about movies now. We got 3D, we got Blu-ray, we got all that stuff. But anyway, I was watching this movie called Snakes on a Plane. And it's how these snakes, it was this, I don't know what this aphrodisiac or whatever this was in these little lures, you know, that they wear when they're in Hawaii. These, what do you call these little
Lei.
leis, whatever you call them. And I guess they had something on them, and it made the snakes more subtle or something. But anyway, there was a lot of snakes on the plane. And people were getting bit, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, this child had gotten bit, and this woman came to help him, and she said that she needed a knife and she needed some olive oil. So when she said she needed the olive oil, it made me think about the olive oil being like a quickening, or that Holy Spirit that's going to make that serpent subtile and make him behave. So that's what I got out of that. But anyway, can I have, when, like I said, I can't stress enough that the moderator just told us that this is a school. And in this school, we do research, we check things out. We do a lot of Romans 1:19 and 20, where we take the physical and we compare it to the spiritual. So she told you when she was doing the moderation that nothing escapes the pattern. So can I get somebody get to me the word inexcusable? Inescapable, I'm sorry. Inescapable. If it's such word as inescapable. She was telling you that nothing escapes this pattern.
Inescapable from Google search, online dictionary. It's an adjective, unable to be avoided or denied.
Okay.
The synonyms are unavoidable, inevitable, unpreventable, inexorable.
Okay, and one example or type of shadow of that to me would be when that angel was driving them out of that garden. They had to go. You know, it was, you know, they had to get out of there. They had to escape out of there. If I can make a type of shadow out of it. No, I can't say that inescapable, because they did escape. They did come down from out of there. But what I'm trying to say is this truth cannot be escaped. You know, it can't be undenied. It can't be denied. So they were here lately. They've been talking about. I think it was Harriet Tubman. I don't know if it was Sojourner Truth, but one of them did the Underground Railroad. Was that Harriet Tubman?
Yeah.
Okay, she was over. The slaves would go down through that underground tunnel when the slave masters were trying to get to them, and that was their freedom. That was a safe haven. That was a way out. So now they've got it. I don't know if Trump has anything to do with it, but it's some kind of underground home that you can buy, and it's real pricey. So you got to have money for that. I Googled it, and it's talking about underground homes, underground shelter. Just like back in the day when Harriet Tubman was trying to free the slaves, going through that little secret compartment to be able to go to safety. People are trying to escape the things, this havoc that we're in. They even buying property, they say, on the moon, you know, trying to escape. But like she was telling you earlier, you can't escape the truth. And with that, I'll take my seat.
Hallelujah. I'd like to say good morning to the class.
Good morning.
And I'm truly thankful to Yahweh through his son Joshua for him allowing me one more time to be in class. And I was reading a transcript earlier in the week, and Dr. Kinley, the Holy Spirit through him, was saying that everybody who are delinquent in class that you know of, he said invite them to come to class. And you want to be obedient by inviting people to class, not saying that we can make anybody come or anything like that, but you do want them to know that that we do have class and it's open for you to come and to learn something about your Creator in truth and reality. And this past, the first part of the month, I had the opportunity to go to the Unity in Yah. And I really was thankful to Yahweh for the things that I heard. And it was hearing the gospel preached and reiterated over and over and over and over again. And I've been looking at some things as to, how to have this that Yahshua is to give you. So it's a gift. It is a gift. And he spoke some things over there. Let's get John 1 and about 10. I'm not going to try to do a whole lot of it because it was so much until your little mind just be like a little yo-yo and just be going, trying to suck up everything. But it was so many things brought out. And this is what we want you to know, that Yahweh do have a purpose, a plan, and a pattern that it is for salvation. And that's what this whole thing is about, is salvation, to be saved. But number one is, if you don't know what you need saving from, then it's not priority to you. When we were born into this world, keeping in mind that all these things that were set up when you came on the scene, and we all was, and if you don't want to take credit, I was indoctrinated with those things that were already going on when I got here. I was taken to church. I was told this, and I did that, and I did that. Well, see, what has happened is, or why it's so imperative that we see, know, and understand. Because when we came into this world, we came into a system, so to speak, that's already set up to deceive. Everything about it, it was set up to deceive you. Things that you did that you didn't think anything about it. And they were so superstitious about everything. Even when you were little, don't do this because of this. Throw some salt over your shoulder. Don't sweep a person's foot with a broom. All of these things, they were here when I got here. People were being baptized when I got here. So all of these things, we didn't ask for it. We were born into it. I mean, and we was compassed about it. Everywhere we went, there was no escape. So what is going on here is for Yahshua to come where you are. We was in ignorance, in darkness, and we're going to look at this thing according to the pattern. And what you see down here, all of this is chaoses. This is the state that you come into of Babylon, confusion. Yeah. Everything, you didn't know anything, I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know whether the Baptist church was a Baptist church or they just thought it up, it popped out the ceiling. I don't know how it got started. Only thing I know was here when I got here. And then when you're raised up, then your parents or my parents took me to that place. And then it didn't stop there. As I got older, then I went on to another church and got into there. And all of these things, and all of the things, when you look at the doctrine in all of these religious organizations, you will find they were made up, and you can't find no justification of them nowhere in the scripture. They got Mount Zion. They got Mount Moriah. They got this and they got that. But nobody, when I was in it, nobody said, why are we doing this? How did this come about? Because in my heart and in my mind, I was in that ignorance just as everyone else was. But what is it? Why is it that Yahshua chose me out of all the people that I knew to reveal himself in me and make me to know that that was not the right way, and that was idolatry. It was just totally idolatry. And everything that was being done was being contrary to how Yahweh set it up as far as your soul's salvation is concerned. Now, read John 1 and start at about 10, please.
He was in the world.
Now, he's talking about Yahshua. He said, now, when you read it a little bit further, and it talks about, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Yahweh, and the Word was Yahweh. The same was in the beginning with Yahweh. And it said, but without him, there was not anything made that was made. And it said in him was life. And that life was the light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world. Read, please.
He was in the world.
He was in the world, manifested in the flesh. Read.
And the world was made
And the
by
world was made by him. Read.
And the world knew him not.
And the world knew him not. So that world is mankind.
Right.
It was to the Jews back there, it's down here, all the way down the line, that the world did not know who their creator was. Read, please.
He came unto his own.
Uh-huh.
And his own received him not.
His own people received him not. Read, please.
But as many as received him,
But, it says, but as many, read,
as received him,
that received him,
to them gave he power.
to them gave he gave them, read,
Power.
power,
To
read,
become the sons of Yahweh.
to become. So in other words, it was something that you weren't. So a change had to be made somewhere. Okay? A change had to be made. So it said to them gave he power to become, read,
the sons of
the
Yahweh.
sons or children of Yahweh. Read.
Even to them that believed on his
But
name.
see, listen to what he's saying. It said, but it's to them, or those that believe what?
On his name.
On his name. It's something that's wrapped up in a name. It's salvation that's wrapped up in this name, because he's given this. He's given you power to become a son or children of Yahweh. That is to them that believe on the name of him. Read.
Which were born not
Read.
of blood,
Read.
nor of the will of the flesh,
Read.
nor of the will of man,
Read.
but of Yahweh.
Now this come by Yahweh himself. So what is it, and how is this thing to be? Now in volume 1, page 2, about the second paragraph, the Holy Spirit through the founder goes on to tell us something about, I believe it's by the elevation of your mind, or raise you to bring you up. In other words, where we were in our heart and mind, you got to come up to a level where you can see, know, and understand something about your Creator. Okay? So page 2, I think it's about the second paragraph or something up in there. Start at the second paragraph on the second page, please.
In the foregoing paragraph,
Uh-huh.
it was not my intention to impart the idea that I, in my human intellect,
Uh-huh.
have become infinite in wisdom and infallible in judgment.
Now he's taking it all for him, and that's what people don't understand. He's taking all this responsibility. Oh, Dr. Killer this and Dr. Killer that. He said, my human intellect, don't be looking at me like I'm all that on a ball of wax. He said, so I'm done with that. I'm not even talking about that. And many times through his lectures, he said, I have never come to hear H.C. Kinley speak. Never. I don't even want to hear what he got to say. Why is he saying that? Because he wants your attention to be on your Creator and the one that have salvation to give. And that's Yahshua the Messiah. Read, please.
Or that I have already attained the state of absolute perfection
Read.
in every technical detail.
Read on.
However, I am only trying to attract your attention.
Listen at what he says. He said, I'm only trying to attract your attention. Read.
And elevate your mind.
And elevate your mind to bring you, step it up a notch, to bring you conscious of something. Read.
So that I can impart to you the true understanding of the vision which I received by divine revelation.
And that's what's going on. What we want to do is to bring you conscious of this true divine vision and revelation for salvation that has been brought to us. Okay? That's what it's going. That's why it talks about to escapade current superstition, skepticism, and ignorance. And this is what we are after. Now, the whole thing is this, and this is one of the things that we go on to say, because this is how it has been set up and given to us to arrive at an understanding of our Creator in truth and reality. Now, in Luke 24th chapter, in the 25th verse, we find that these two are walking on the road to Emmaus in the 13th verse, 24:13. And as they are walking, and then Joshua himself joins himself unto them in their heart and mind and asks them about the conversation. And they telling him about, look, are you a stranger, around here? You don't know about what's happening here in these days? He said, what thing? And they went on to tell him about how they had taken Joshua and scourged him and whooped him and beat him, and then they crucified him. They put him out here on the cross. And then after they did that, he had a crown of thorns on his head. He had nails in his hands and in his feet. All of this was what they was talking to him about. Now, Joshua had told them in Matthew 16:21. He said, now, Joshua began to, let's read that. Let's read it, Matthew 16:21. And everybody put your fingers in your book, because we're going to need all the help we can get this morning. Joshua will. I do want to share as much as he allowed me to share. But this is a school and we're helpers one of another. You see, read please.
Matthew 16:21.
Read.
For that time forth
Now it says from that time forth, read.
began Joshua to show unto the disciples
Uh-huh.
how that he must go unto
Now he said he showed it unto his disciples what?
how that he must.
How that he must go to Jerusalem
And suffer many things.
and suffer. So really all of this wasn't wow. What? No. He had already told them. He had told them that he said, I must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things of the scribes and the Pharisees and the elders and all them boys up there, read.
And be killed.
And they gonna kill me. They gonna crucify me, read.
And be raised again the third day.
But see, when they kill me, he said, I'm gonna rise again the third day, but he's gonna do it according to the scripture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he was talking to them about. So now this is after his death, burial, resurrection. And they are talking over here in Luke. And he said, oh fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. He said, not the Messiah to suffer these things and to enter into his glory. And he said, and beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And that's what this whole thing is about. Himself. This thing is himself. Now, it talks about over there in Isaiah, it talks about how there was none to help, there was none to save, right? He said, mine own arm held me up, okay? Everybody looking with a big question mark on their face. Get Isaiah 60, I think it's 63.
Isaiah 63 chapter,
Yeah, the 63rd chapter of Isaiah.
starting at 1.
Go ahead.
Who is this that cometh
Who is this that cometh from Edom? Read.
with dyed garments from
From Bozrah. Read.
This that is glorious in his apparel,
Read, please.
traveling in the greatness of
Traveling in the greatness of his strength. Read.
I say that
I that
speak
speak
in righteousness,
in righteousness,
mighty to save.
mighty to save. Read.
Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel,
Read, please.
and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat?
You see that he's a bloody mess. Why is that? Who is this? And you're picking up that lamb slain from the foundation of the world. He's already accomplished it from a spiritual standpoint, and now what he's going to do is manifest in the flesh and show you what he did. Because we have a Romans 1:19 and 20, and we talk about because that which may be known of Yahweh is manifest where?
Amen.
You see that? Read, please.
I have trodden the wine press
Alone. Read.
and of the people
Read.
there was none with me.
Now listen. He said, of the people there was none with me. There is none there. Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Dr. Kinley, Dr. Who done it or who did it. It was none. None. Okay? Read.
For I will tread them in mine anger.
Read, please.
And trample
I'm going
them,
to trample them in my fury. Read.
and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment.
What garment he had on? That old fleshly garment. See? Read, please.
And I will stain all my
I'm going to
raiment.
stain all my raiment. Read.
For the day of vengeance is in mine heart.
Read, please.
And the year of my redeemed is come.
Uh-huh.
And I looked, and
I looked. Read.
and there was none to help.
There was none to help. There was none to help. We want you to know it's in the book. Read.
And I wondered that there was none to uphold.
Was none there to uphold. Read.
Therefore mine own arm
Mine own arm.
aided me.
You got it, don't you? He said, my own arm aided me. So he's accomplishing all things himself. And that's the whole point that you want to see, is how Yahweh is doing this thing himself alone. And none of us can help him, help nobody at no time. Okay? It's not like that. I'm going to come over here and help. We're not talking about this from a physical standpoint. We're talking about by the renewing of your mind, to raise you to a spiritual knowledge and understanding of your Creator the way He really is and actually exists. And that's what's going to bring about that new creature in Yahshua the Messiah. Okay? That you understand Him, and that you understand the ever presence of Yahweh through His Son Yahshua and where He is. See, He's not up above the sun, moon, and stars. Okay? And it must be Yahshua in you making intercession to the Father. Well, why you say that? Because if it ain't going no further than the ceiling. Why? Because He said we know not what to pray for as we ought. Is that correct? Is that in the book too?
Yeah.
Okay? So if we don't know what to pray for as we ought, you think about it. Now Yahweh told Abram, before all this took place, He said, know of a surety that your seed will go down and be in bondage to a people that they know not. Okay? You look at the world that we be living in. You were born into it. I'm talking about bound in ignorance too. And serving with rigor. You like, well, why this and why that? Because this thing is a repetition. It's repeated over and over again. And it's not going to stop. See, this thing is going to keep going. It's keep going, keep going. It's like that bunny. You know, it just had them batteries and energizers. And it's going to keep on going until this right here. Right here. You see. So, what is it that's going to keep us? It's to see, know, and understand our Creator in truth and reality. So these children of Israel, what you have back here, we're talking about beginning at Moses, when the children of Israel was down here in the land of Egypt. Now look, when they were down here, Joseph told them, he said, I die and Elohim will surely visit you. Now this was like a promise. You got Abraham, or Abram when he's talking to him. He said, no of a surety. Let's read where he says, let's read Genesis 15 and 16. So I can connect this up. Because I do want Yahshua willing to give this as best as He give it to me. And I'm going to have to read these scriptures because I don't want to be stumbling through them. Genesis 15:13. Read, please.
15:13.
Uh-huh.
And He said unto Abram.
Now this is, when you read this, you see Yahweh appeared unto Abram in a vision. Okay? And this is what He's talking to him or dealing with him in this vision. Okay? Now, when we was talking about the vessel, talk about the moderation, it says Yahweh, Elohim, they can only be seen how? In divine vision and understood in divine revelations. So then you see that cloud, you see, in his brain, in his heart, in his mind, you see, and that cloud represents spirit, you see. Read, please.
Know of a surety
Mm-hmm.
that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs,
That is not theirs. Read.
and shall serve them,
And shall serve them. Read.
and they shall afflict them
And they shall afflict them. Read.
400 years.
Read, please.
And also that nation
And also that nation. Read.
whom they shall serve
Read, please.
will I judge.
I'm going to judge that nation. Read.
And afterward,
Now, afterward, now you're listening to what Yahweh say gonna happen and how he gonna deal with it. He said, now what you're looking at is just think about these children of Israel been put down here in Egypt and how Yahweh had already set this thing up. He foreknew. Okay?
Right.
So he foreknew what was gonna happen every step of the way. People say if Adam hadn't have did this and if Adam hadn't have did that, Yahweh foreknew everything that was going to happen. It is his purpose, his pattern, and his plan. It's likened unto an author writing a book. The author know everything about every character, and he named them and gave them their characteristics, their personalities, and everything about them. And he did that in the confines of his mind. And that's likened unto pure spirit. You see that?
Right.
Everything we got is likened unto, because everything and everybody ain't nothing but a type and shadow of what Yahweh is doing. You see? And he is the one that's running the whole show. You see what I'm saying? So now all of this is said, what? Read.
and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
It's not going to be no mistake about it. They're going to come out with something. Read, please.
With great substance.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt be buried in a good old age.
That's fine. Now keeping in mind that this is what he's telling Abram. So then when you get over there with Joseph, it's like, okay, listen y'all, I'm getting ready to take off the flesh. Let me tell it to you again now, so you won't forget it. So he's constantly rehearsing this thing. So people say, well, all y'all talking about is the death, the burial, and the resurrection, and ascension, and the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. We got to rehearse this thing. It's got to be rehearsed in us. It's got to be rehearsed over and over and over again to make sure that we keep the story straight as it was given unto us. See, and that's what's going on here. Read over here in Genesis 50:25, 24:25.
Genesis 24.
Genesis 50,
Oh,
24. And you keep it in mind what he told them. He said, now, this is what I'm going to do. And he's showing it to Abram in a vision. He's showing it to him. And that's likened unto impure spirit. Everything that's already taken, and what he's going to do, he's going to bring it forward. Read.
Genesis 50 and 24.
Uh-huh.
And Joseph said,
And
unto his
Joseph
brethren-
said, read.
said unto his brethren,
Uh-huh.
I die.
I die. Read.
And Elohim will surely visit you
He's going to surely visit you
and bring you out of this land.
and bring you out of this land. Where were they? They was in the land of Egypt. He's going to bring you up out of this land. Now, previously when we was talking about, we talk about this being what? Chaosis. We talk about this being ignorance. We talk about this being darkness in the heart and in the mind now. Okay, read.
And Elohim will surely visit you
Uh-huh.
and bring you out of this land unto the land which he sware to Abraham.
So he telling you now, he had already swear and told Abraham, read.
To Isaac and to Jacob.
So you got Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Israel. It's coming all the way on down, and they rehearsing the self-same promise that Yahweh had given Abram. And he telling them about it. He swear to Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob. Read, please.
And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel.
Read, please.
Saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence.
Now you carry up my bones from hence, which represents spirit. Okay? So what you have is the children of Israel, when in the fullness of time, you see all of these things take place. So you got the children of Israel when you get over there in the first chapter of Exodus, and they are down here and they are serving with river. So just as Yahweh Elohim showed and told Abram, you see it come to pass. That's part of it, but that's not all of it. He said, because afterward I am going to bring you out and you're going to have great substance. Right. So if you see one part of it, then you're waiting for the next part. Okay, well, the same thing is going on right now. The things that's happening is that we know in part, but see, it's a more that's coming. So he said, though it tarry, then you do with patience, you wait for it. He said, it'll surely come. So that's where we are now. He said, it's going to come. But see, something has to happen within our own heart, in our own mind. And that's what you're having with the children of Israel down here in the land of Egypt. And like I said, this is just type and shadow. So you find them down here in the land of Egypt. And it talks about in the fullness of time, Moses was born. You see, so everything Yahweh set up, and then he said every like the actor in a book, or actor in a play, or whatever. Then here come Moses. He got Moses coming on the scene. Well, what is he born for? And then you see Moses going through that death, that burial, that resurrection, you see. And then he ascends in the household of Pharaoh's daughter. Then he grows up. Then they're talking about Moses being 40 years of age, okay? And so when he get that 40 years of age, going out looking around, see what's going on. You got the 4. So he's raised him up a minister. Just as he's still doing this now, people. It's Yahweh's ministers that he is raising up and giving this divine vision to, and this knowledge and understanding to. And that's what you're looking at all the way down the line. It's like I was sharing with this vessel. I said, don't you worry one bit about who is standing before you. You just listen to the words, and then that's what you're after, is that self-same spirit of truth that's going to teach you all things. That's all you're looking for. That's all you're after. I said, so whatever vessel he used, I said, if he could use that jackass to talk to somebody, how much more? There's none exempt. Yahweh use whoever he please. And what is that to you? Don't worry about that. You just come and sit and listen and hear what thus saith Yahshua to the assembly. That's what it's all about. So here you have the children of Israel down here in the land of Egypt. And in the fullness of time, when Moses goes out, he slays that Egyptian, buries him in the sand. And then what? You find out the next day goes out, find this thing is known. And then what? Pharaoh seeks to slay Moses. So you see a death, a burial, a resurrection, or a blood, water, spirit, and Moses 40 years old, and he flees up out of the land of Egypt, out here in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. All of this is going according to this pattern, because it calls for a death, it calls for a burial, it calls for a resurrection, it calls for an ascension. Blood, water, spirit, 40. Death, burial, resurrection, ascension. It's going over this and over this and over this. Now when Moses gets out here, then what you have, why is it that it got to be 7 daughters? Why is it that they got to call him to eat bread? Why is it that Moses got to make intercession between Jethro, Reel's daughter, and the other shepherds that's out there? And then what? Then why is it that Moses got to get married? Got to be a covenant somewhere. Everything is going according to this threefold pattern. And that's what you're looking at. Now, you got Moses going from a place that he has never been 2 is out here. Okay? Now Yahweh sent Moses back down here when he's 80 years old. You have this, and we're not going to read it all. You know the story how Yahweh appeared unto Moses in the midst of this burning bush. And he told Moses to come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, up out of the land of Egypt. And what you're looking at is Yahweh spoke something and how he is doing this thing. Well, it don't just stop back here in the law. You'll see the same thing of him telling them things to do in the prophets, in the Psalms. It's just overturning. So when in the fullness of time, when time for them to come up out of here, he tells them after this ninth plague, the plague of darkness, and the 10th plague will be the plague of the death of the firstborn, right? And then he said, now take this blood and put it on the upper lintel and the 2 side posts dipping from a basin, making 4 points of blood. All of this is pointing to Yahshua the Messiah, right? Okay, so they do that, and then they say, well, now look, this got to be roast lamb, unleavened bread, bitter herbs. Now, and then you got to have your shoes on your feet, your loins girded, your staff in your hand. Now, when you go on over, it talks about this being in, really it's being in Yahshua, being clothed in the Son, having that understanding and that knowledge of your Creator in truth and in reality. So they are coming on up out of here. He bring them to and through divided waters of the Red Sea and out here in the wilderness. Did he promise them that they will come out with great substance? Okay, now this is natural. I went all around that to show the natural coming up out of and getting something natural. Okay? They went to a new place that they had never gone before. But listen, he told them this: I brought you out to bring you in, to cause you to inherit. It's something that he's going to give them. You see what I'm saying? A permanent place. So we're sitting here and you're looking at, when we say stand in the holy place, right? So he has brought us out of this ignorance and this darkness and brought us into class, into a knowledge and understanding of him. And he's brought us out here to make us ready for the Passover, the true Passover. I'm talking about in the heart and in the mind, okay? That you can be renewed in your heart and in your mind. How is this going to take place? By the transformation of your mind. This is what is taking place. At one time, you didn't know that it was wrong for you to take communion. You didn't know it was wrong for you to be water baptized or sprinkled. You didn't know those things, okay? You didn't know that this was to the Jews only. You know, we just come party crashing, just come along and just took it up, and that's what we was doing, okay? Right. But see, he's what you're looking at over here. We're talking about a new creature in Yahshua the Messiah. Well, this new creature said old things. All this was old, but he's talking about making something new. Well, evidently, if he came in and fulfilled all of this and moved it out the way, then he's got something better. Okay? Now he said I don't know where it is talking about when something is old is to be cast away or something to that effect. But this is what you're looking at, people. Is that all this is that Old Testament is fulfilled. It's fulfilled. Now Yahshua will come in, fulfill all of the circumcision. When he was circumcised on the 8th day, slate clean. Okay? When he go to John to be baptized, slate clean. You don't have to be water baptized. See, but then you got these different organizations that's satanic oriented, that they're going to tell you that this bread and this body is Joshua's. You know, it's not real as you see. Now you looking at the cracker in the thing, and they're going to tell you, no, that's not what it is. That's the body. No, it's not. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. All these different things that we had, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that you took up these things that wasn't to you, and then I look at it. Now, if you broke one, you guilty of them all. Now, what you going to do with that then? Okay? But now he promised them He said now that he will come out with great substance. Okay? So when the children of Israel got ready to come up out of here, and they had that roast lamb, unleavened bread, bitter herbs in them, and they said, now look, you burn up, don't let nothing remain until the morning. He said, that which remained you burn. So they couldn't go here and find Joshua's body and said, oh, this is the bones and this is the, no. He said, because there was none of the lamb left back here, none left here, none.
Right.
None left. Okay? It wasn't nothing for nobody to see and see. I told you this. No. He said, don't let any of it remain. You got to eat all of it. You see, and that's what's going on now. So what you want to look at is this, and I want to share a few more scriptures with you because time is ticking. So, but what I want you to look at is that how is it he going to do these things? I want you to get Romans 12 and 1 and 2. And get 2 Corinthians 4 and 2. Because see, we didn't know that these things were wrong before. But now, the things that's been revealed, we don't have any excuse. We don't have any excuse. So the whole thing is that, and that's what's really the whole thing is, he's making us without excuse. By telling us all these things, by revealing all these things to us, we ain't got no excuse. We do not have an excuse, okay? So what we want to share with you is just as you see these Romans 1:19 and 20 back here, that he's taking them to a new place, okay? Then what we want to show you now is there is a new creature in Yahshua the Messiah. In you. In you. Not outside of you. Not up on you. But in you. You see? And that's how he make all things new. And he promised something, you see. Read, please.
Romans 12 and 2.
Read.
And be not conformed to this world.
Start at 1.
I beseech you therefore.
Now listen, he said, I beg you, brethren, read.
By the mercies of Yahweh.
Now he said, by the mercies of Yahweh. Read.
That you present your bodies a living
Listen
sacrifice.
to this, people. Because see, you got people who say, I don't need to go to class. I done learned all that I'm supposed to learn, and he can teach me at home. He said, do what? Now, and people want to talk about what the Apostle Paul said and all this, that, and what Dr. Kinley said. But you know what? It's on me now.
Yeah.
And I ain't got no excuse. And I don't care what I come up with. It's a lie because I ain't got none. And that's just the way it is. Read, please.
That you present your bodies a living sacrifice.
He said, present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Holy.
Holy.
Acceptable unto Yahweh.
Acceptable unto Yahweh.
Which is your reasonable.
Now look, it ain't no big deal. That's just your reasonable service. Why? Because he's given you life and breath in all things. And you ought to be shouting to the housetop, yeah, I'm gonna come and learn about my Creator in truth and reality. And I'm not gonna let anything or anybody, because really it ain't nothing but a trick of that old satanic mystery to keep you away from learning about your Creator. And that's what it is. Read.
And be not conformed to this world.
And be not conformed, read.
To this world.
To this world. To this world where we are now. Do not be conformed to this world. Read.
But be ye transformed.
Now, what is it to transform? Somebody look up the definition. But it said to what? Read, please.
But be ye transformed.
Be ye transformed.
By the renewing of your mind.
Now, he didn't say nothing about this old weather-beaten body. You know, it said be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, the founder was talking about to bring us up, or to elevate your mind. Right? So in order for him to impart something unto us, something that Yahweh had given unto him, then he wanted to give it to you. And that's what is going on. Transform. Definition.
To change.
To change.
Markedly the form or appearance of.
The form or appearance of. Read.
To change the nature
That's it. To change the nature. And we're not talking about that old natural man. We're talking about the spiritual man. To change the nature. Our very nature. Read.
Function
Function.
or condition of.
To
convert.
To convert. You see, to make that change, and it's in you. Now, it's like I was telling the vessel coming on the class, you can't change none of the stuff going on out here in this world, and all the stuff don't even worry about it. You know, how Yahshua said, I got this. You know, you get all caught up and say, I got this. You understand? Well, let's see this, that, another. No, and then the Apostle Paul, he said, now don't faint. He said, we faint not. Don't fall out. Don't lose it now. It's too late in the day. You know, you just stand still and see the salvation of Yahshua. And that's what's going on. Next scripture, please.
Is that 2 Corinthians 4th chapter?
Yeah, 4 and 2.
Starting at 1 or 2.
You can start at 1. Read, please.
Therefore, seeing we have this ministry.
Now look, people. Therefore, seeing we. Now, it was the apostles back there as us down here now.
Right.
Read.
We have this ministry.
Seeing we have this ministry. Read.
As we have received mercy.
Now, the only reason we are able to speak these things is because you have received mercy. That's why we're here. It's because we have received mercy. It's not anything that I have done, because Catherine ain't no good. You know, so it ain't like, oh, I'm taking out the trash, I'm sitting up for class, I'm doing this. Only reason we are here is because of the mercy of Yahshua.
Yeah.
That's why we are here. Read.
We faint not.
We faint not. Read.
But have renounced.
But have renounced. Somebody look up renounce. Read.
The hidden things.
The hidden things of dishonesty. We're not up here lying to you about pay your tithes. We're not up here lying to you about Lord's Supper. And don't even know it was Passover supper.
Yeah.
We're not lying to you. We have given you the unadulterated truth of these things from the very beginning when they was given unto us, and let you know and went in the book and showed you that Yahshua said he come to fulfill. And you want to turn around and tell me he was setting up a Christian example. No, he was not. So when you say that, you're calling him a liar. Because he said, suffer it to be so now, for thus it become to fulfill all righteousness. And in another place, he said, I come to finish the work. Now, if you finish something, that's a done deal. Now, I finished paying off my car. They better not call me for nothing. You better send me my title.
Right.
Can you hear me now? You see what I'm saying? You don't want them calling you for nothing but to know, is this address correct? For them to send you that. I'm serious.
Yeah.
He said he fulfilled it, finished it, moved it out the way. And then you want to say, well, see, he said he don't wash their feet. Why is he doing that? He's picking up way back there in Exodus with Moses washing the priests and everything and his sons to officiate in that tabernacle. And you think he would get in there. He said, and even when he was washing them, he said, you don't even know what I'm doing right now. He said, but you're going to know afterward. Well, how is it that they're going to know? If they didn't know before, how is they going to know? He said he's going to be in them. And he going to teach them all things. And bring all things till they remember. So they wouldn't have to worry about, what did he mean by this, that, and another? You ask Peter when you're over there want to put them Gentiles in some water. He said, then I remember. Then I remember something. Why? Because he promised something. That he will bring all things to their remembrance. Whatsoever he had said unto them. You see what I'm saying? And he's still doing the self-same thing down here now. But see, we have a tendency to think that we can do something ourselves, and we can't. We can't. Okay? Definition. What did I ask?
Renounce.
Renounce. Read, please.
The American Heritage Dictionary.
Uh-huh.
Renounce.
Mm-hmm.
To give up.
To give up. We're going to show it to you openly what it's all about. Read.
To give up, especially by formal announcement.
By formal announcement. There's no salvation in any of these carnal ordinances. Okay? Read.
To reject or disown.
To reject. To disown. Read.
To revoke.
Revoke. Haven't you heard I'm going to revoke your license? They give you that. And when they revoke your license, what happened? You're not permitted to drive. Is that what revoke means?
Right.
Cutting it out. Stop. Read.
That's all it says. It says the synonym.
That's fine.
synonym is-
That's fine because see the whole thing is stop. Put a stop to it. So you can't say, well, I don't know nothing about this. Oh, yes, you do. But see, the whole thing is what I really want to get some scriptures here. I'm going to put them up here so we can just go through them. I want Ephesians 4:24 and Ephesians 2:15 and Galatians 6:15, 1 John 2:7-8. Revelations 2:17 and 3 and 12. Cause see, we're talking about things that you want to be that's new. Something to bring you into a whole different state. I want you to get over there in Isaiah, I think it's 65 and something, where it talks about I create 65 and 17. Because all of these things back here was just pointing us up to what Yahshua was going to do when he poured out his Holy Spirit in the hearts and minds of men. And what he's done now is given us something new. And people say, well, they ain't never heard of this, and they ain't never heard. Well, oh, it's okay because it's if you use that just because y'all using a different name, you know, the name itself, it said when he come in, he came in to save. So what we want to do is let's get Ephesians 2:15 and 4:24 first.
You want the 2 before the 4?
Either one, just read it.
Okay, Ephesians 4:24, taken from the Holy Name Bible.
Okay.
And that ye put on the new man.
Listen. Now, it said, and that you put on the new man, read,
Which after Elohim
which after Yahweh Elohim, read,
is created
is created, read,
in righteousness
in righteousness
and true holiness.
and true holiness. Okay? Next scripture. We're talking about a change. Okay?
2:15.
Mm-hmm.
Ephesians, having abolished in his flesh the enmity.
Listen. It said having abolished. If you abolish something, what you do?
Get rid of it.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So having abolished in his flesh, read,
The enmity,
the enmity.
even the law of commandments.
You see that? You see all that? Even the law of commandments, read,
Contained in ordinances.
contained in ordinances. Then he give them laws and statutes and judgments and commandments. All these ordinances. Now you think about it, people. You trying to keep something that was never given to you in the first place. And plus you don't know how many it was. It was more than just 10. You see, read.
For to make in himself,
But to make in himself. Himself. Read.
of twain,
Of two.
one
Of
new,
two. Now you got two, and he gonna make that two one new man, which is spiritual. And that's really what it's all about. And how is he gonna accomplish it? How is he gonna do that? Okay, let's get John 14 and 6, and then go down to about the 16th verse.
John 14 and 6.
Read.
Yahshua saith unto him,
Now Yahshua saith unto him, read.
I am the
Now
way.
listen, people, if you want to know, if you truly want to know, okay, Yahshua said this. He said, I am. Now he said this before he hit this cross. He said, I am
the way,
the
truth,
I'm the truth,
and the life.
and the life.
No man cometh unto the
No
Father,
man cometh unto the Father
but by me.
but by me. Now how is he going to do that? He's telling them this while he is manifested in a physical body. And he's talking to his disciples. Okay? Go to the 15th or 16th verse. Read.
And I will pray the Father.
Now listen. Because see, this is what's going on now. And I mean, my whole thing is, I thank Yahshua for just giving me this right here. Because I do not know anything about making no intercession. None of us do. But we do have an advocate. And that's Yahshua the Messiah. And he says, no man cometh to the Father but by me. And how are you going to be brought to the Father even? Read, please.
And I will pray the Father.
And I will. Okay? Just like when you go back there and you get to reading about over there with the children of Israel when he got ready to deliver them out of the land of Egypt. And he told Moses, he said, I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go but by a mighty hand. But he said, I will. This is what I'm going to do. Okay? So what's going on, mankind ain't got nothing to do with it because he said, I'm going to do it. I will. It's going to be my will to do this. And to know the will of Yahweh Elohim and his son Yahshua the Messiah is to know the purpose and what he has purposed for his children or his sons. And he says what? Read.
And I will pray the Father.
I will pray the Father.
And he shall give you another comforter.
And he's going to give you another comforter. You see, read.
That he may abide.
And he is going to abide with you forever. See, this what we missed out on. See, we was thinking our preaching, our pastors, and our deans, and our people that we came in contact. We was looking at every piece of flesh we could find. Just as ignorant as an 8-day clock. You see what I'm saying? Just in ignorance, I mean totally in darkness. I'm talking about me. Because you're looking around and looking at somebody, and he is the one and only. Yahshua the Messiah. He said he said, I will pray the Father that he do what?
To give you another comforter.
That he do what? I will. Start there.
And I will pray the Father.
I will pray the Father.
And he shall give you another comforter. That he may abide with you forever.
Now look. See, if he is standing there in a physical body at this time with them. Okay? And this is what he's saying to them. Now they've been walking around there with him looking at his flesh. Well, he's headed for it to be killed. But he's preparing them psychologically and spiritually so to receive what he got to give them. And that is himself. But not of the old man. From a physical standpoint. He said, I'm going to pray the Father that he give you another comforter that's going to abide with you forever. Ain't no flesh going to abide forever.
No.
You see what I'm saying? So who are we looking to? Yahshua, that eternal spirit. You see, read.
Even the spirit of truth.
Now, the one that I'm going to give and the one that I'm going to pray the Father for you to have is the spirit of truth.
Whom the world cannot receive.
The world cannot receive.
Because it seeth him not.
They can't see it.
Neither knoweth him.
They don't know it.
But ye know him.
But you know him.
He dwelleth with you.
Now look, right now, I'm here with you. He dwelleth with you. And
Shall be in you.
you see that? But he was preparing them to receive him. Because he said, look, he gonna abide with you forever after this. So they know can't no flesh abide forever. So what is he doing? Preparing them to receive him from a spiritual standpoint. And that's what he told them. He said, but when the Comforter is come, that's going to come forth from the Father, he going to teach you all things. You see that? So that's what you have. But he said then he got to do it. He got to pray the Father. Why he got to do that? Okay? Hebrews. I think it's Hebrews. Over there where he says, Hebrews 10 and start at about 5. I think it's in Hebrews. Start at 5 and I'll see. And then we're going to come back to these last scriptures up here.
Hebrews 10 and 5.
Read what it says.
Wherefore when he cometh into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not.
Now listen. He said, sacrifice and offering I wouldest not. Now keep in mind what he just said over here in John 14 chapter. Read.
Sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, thou hast had no pleasure.
Now listen, people. All these sacrifices and everything that they placed on this altar, and all those years of offering up and offering up and offering up, it was pointing to him. So then once he come in and offers himself, he said once at the end of the age, that concluded. That was every sacrifice that was ever offered up. You see, he fulfilled all of that. Now you think about it. How many times a day did they have to offer up a lamb? Okay. And how many years did they offer up them lambs? Okay. That's food for thought. But all of them was pointing to Yahshua. It had the morning lamb, the evening lamb. Okay, all of it was pointing to him. Every lamb, ram, bullock, turtle dove, everything that was offered up, it was talking about him. That he might be the first fruits of them that slept. It was all talking about him. Okay? Read.
In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, thou hast had no pleasure.
Read, please.
Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me.
So all of those sacrifices, everything that was back then, the law and the prophets and the Psalms, it was all pointing to Yahshua. Read, please.
To do thy will, O Yahweh.
Okay. Now listen. He said he come to do the will of the Father. Well, what is the will of the Father? Read, please.
Above when he said sacrifices and offering and burnt offerings and offering for sin thou wouldest not,
Read.
neither hadst pleasure therein,
Read.
which are offered by the law.
Now it said that's offered by the law. Read on.
Then said he, Lo, I come to do the will, O Yahweh. He taketh away the first.
Now look, this is the will. This is the will of the Father. This is what he come to do. He said he come to do what?
Taketh away the first.
He take away the first,
that he may
which is a natural, physical. He come to take that away. For what reason?
that he may establish the second.
That he might set up the second, which is spiritual. It's spiritual. It's not natural. Okay? Read.
By the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yahshua the Messiah.
We are sanctified through the body of the offering of Yahshua the Messiah. Not a ram, not a goat, not a bullock, but by Yahshua the Messiah. Read.
Once for all.
Once, one time. And that was for all. One time. Now it talks about him being the mediator. Okay? The mediator, the one that's going to mediate for you. Okay? And there's a transcript called Mediator. Get Romans the 8th chapter. Mediator, prayer. Let me give it to you straight. Mediator, prayer, book of life, immortality. This is 1974. And when you start reading it, it's already talking about these different doctrines and things. But I want, we're over here on page 20. Because where is that where it said whom he did foreknow, he also predestined? We're going to start where I got it drawn in there. I think that's Ephesians 1 and 9. Is it not? Let's check and see. Let's see what Ephesians 1 and 9 say.
Okay. Ephesians 1 and 9.
What did it say?
Having made known unto us the mystery of his will.
Now, it says, having made known unto us the mystery of his will. So we know that the will of the Father is to take away the first, that he may establish the second, which is as spiritual. Himself. Read.
According to his good pleasure.
According to his good pleasure. Read.
Which he hath purposed in himself.
Which he hath purposed in himself. Read.
That in the dispensation of the fullness of time.
Now where we are, it's in the dispensations of the fullness of time.
He might gather together in one all things
in one all things in Yahshua the Messiah. Read.
Both which are in heaven.
Both which are in heaven. You got the angelic realm and the ones in the earth. Read.
Even in him.
Even in him. Okay. Now he has predestined that everything came out by him and everything going right on back into him. It's already accomplished. Okay. Now, we was talking about a mediator. We're going to read from this transcript. Page, what page you on?
20.
Page 20. We're in the middle of it. Read, please.
The reader says, he also did predestinate.
Now, he also did predestinate.
To be-
Now, he also did predestinate. So people want to know, well, why are you here? Because Yahshua called you in here for a reason, to elevate or to bring you conscious of himself. That's why we come to class. Because sometimes, you say, well, what do we keep coming to class for? To make you conscious of the ever-presence of Yahshua in you, that you didn't know he was in there. And that's what it talks about over there in Acts 17. He said, though he be not far from what? From every one of us. For in him we do live, and we move, and we have our being. Read, please.
To be conformed to the image of his son.
Now listen. To be conformed to the image of Yahshua. Read.
Dr. Kinley said, now you see that now.
Read, please.
For whom he foreknew.
Listen. For whom he did foreknow. He foreknew who was going to be brought in here to be conformed unto him. He already knew that. See, I just come by anyway. Well, that's because Olivia, she invited me and I said I would come this time. Been coming ever since. Okay. But you looking at a person. And then next thing you know, you up here shouting about what Yahshua has shown you. Okay? He foreknew that at that appointed time, He was going to bring you in here and sit you down and cause you to know something about him in truth and in reality. Okay? And it wasn't on your menu. It wasn't. Read, please.
He did foreordain or predestinate to be the image of his son.
To be the image of his son.
Now his son was made up like as man is.
Listen to this very close. Now his son was made up like man is. Read.
Like I am.
Like I am. He was a flesh and blood man. In a physical body walking around. Read.
I am a son of Yahweh.
I am a son of Yahweh. But see, people don't tell folks how. And they say, well, what are you talking about? That's because it's not explained. You say, now I know they're crazy. Why? Because you don't understand. And it hasn't been explained. But Joshua, once he explained it to you, you say, okay, I see that. Now, we now know. Read.
I am a son of Yahweh, not a Christian.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Not a saint.
I'm not a saint. Saints dead, folks. Read.
I am a son of Yahweh, just like he was.
Just like he was.
Do you understand?
Mhm.
And I hope you all
And
are
I
too.
hope you all are too. To be conformed to the image of his son. Okay? Read, please.
Whom he foreknew,
Whom he foreknew.
he also predestinated.
Listen. Read.
Yahweh foreknew in eternity.
In eternity. Way back here, the master plan. He already foreknew in his purpose. We talk about how things go on in your mind. It takes on shape and form in your heart, in your mind, and then you get up and do it, do you not? Or you accomplish something.
Yeah.
So how is he going to accomplish salvation in you? This how he going to do it. I'm telling you, it is just something. Read, please.
Now look, Yahweh foreknew in eternity.
In eternity.
That's getting back in the book now.
Mm-hmm.
See, he also predestinated that everything come out by his son.
Everything come out by his son.
Incorporealization.
Read, please.
Come on out by his son
Mm-hmm.
and come on down in the flesh.
And come on down in the flesh. Mm-hmm.
Now you pay attention to me,
Mm-hmm.
because he foreknew and predestinated you to conform to the image of his son.
That's the key. That you conform to the image of his son. That's why I said, let this spirit be where? In you, that's also in Yahshua the Messiah. Read.
Now a body is in an image.
Mm-hmm.
That fan there is an image.
Mm-hmm.
A image means something that's erected or constructed.
Something that's erected, created, made. Read.
The reader goes on to read, for whom he did foreknew,
Mm-hmm.
he also did predestinate
Uh-huh.
to be conformed to the image of his son.
To be conformed to the image of his son. Read.
Dr. Kinley replied, now you see what he did.
Okay.
He foreordained
He foreordained
you to be
you to be.
and predestinated you to become conformed to
Mhm.
the image of his son.
Okay. Thank you. Now see, that's the whole thing. That's what's going on.
Right.
But see, we thinking of ourselves that we can do something. No, he set this thing in to talk about way back here in the realm of eternity. Now when it talks about over there, it says now, the only mediator between Yahweh and man, the man Yahshua the Messiah. And it goes on to talk about you don't even know what to pray for. It says the Spirit itself make an intercession for you with groanings that cannot be uttered. So if he's not in you making that intercession to Yahshua in you making the intercession to Yahweh the Father, there's nothing going on. Because he's the only mediator. So if that mediator be in you, then when you're praying, it's not your prayer. It's not about you. It's about the will of Yahweh through his son Yahshua. And that's what you want to see. Get me 1 John 2 and 7 and 8 and Revelations 2:17. And what I was looking at too is back here up under the law where the children of Israel, when they was delivered up out of the land of Egypt, when they got out here, then they sang a song. They sang a song out here. They was rejoicing out here, okay? That they had been delivered. In the 15th chapter of Exodus, it says Pharaoh and his host is cast into the sea and they sank like a stone. Didn't they? You see what I'm saying? When you get over there in Judges and the lady, they sang a song where they had been delivered from Caesarea. They nailed him in the head. They sang the song. Okay, when in your David, you have him sing unto Yahweh a new song. You see what I'm saying? And you get over there in Revelation, it's saying they sang the song of Moses over there in Revelation. It's just, it was a new song that they sang. Because all the while they was down here, they were moaning and groaning and being whooped. But when they got out here, they sang a new song. So what have you got? What's your new song? It's the death. It's the burial. It's the resurrection and ascension of one Yahshua the Messiah and outpouring of the Holy Spirit. You see what I'm saying? That's that new song. And it's done over and over and over again to show you that your Creator is the one who died for you, who buried for you, resurrect for you, ascend to the Father, pour out his Holy Spirit in the heart, in the mind of mankind, and give you that new spirit. And you are a new creature in Yahshua the Messiah. That's what he said. Look, all things are passed away. You ain't running around taking on circumvent no more. You know, you ain't doing those things. You know, that is, I looked at my hands and my hands looked new. Looked at my feet and they did too. These old things looking the same. You know, but in the heart, the hand now is to grasp, is to know something, is to show you something. You know, it's Yahweh Elohim revealing himself to you. Read, please.
Brethren, I write no new commandment unto you.
I write no new commandment unto you. Read.
But an old commandment, which ye had from the beginning.
Read, please.
The old commandment is the word which ye have heard from the beginning.
From the very beginning. Read.
Again, a new commandment I write unto you, which thing is true in him and in you.
Read.
Because the darkness is past.
The darkness is past. In Yahshua, it said the darkness is past. The veil been lifted. You're seeing things now. You see, read.
And the true light.
And the true light now shining. That's Yahshua in you. You see, the true light now shining. Next scripture, please.
Revelation 2 and 17.
Revelation 2 and 7 through 8.
2 and 7.
Read, please.
He that hath an ear.
He that hath an ear. Read.
Let him hear.
Let him hear.
What the Spirit saith.
What the Spirit said unto the assembly. You see, read.
To him that overcomes.
To him that overcomes.
Will I give to
Well,
eat.
I will give to eat of that what?
Tree of life.
Read.
Which is in the midst of the paradise of Yahweh.
Read.
And unto the angel at the assembly in Smyrna write.
Okay. These says the Ayah, the faithful and true witness of Yahweh, 3:14. Yeah, that's enough. Get Revelation 3 and 12.
He that overcometh.
He that overcometh.
Will I make a pillar in the temple
A pillar in the temple
of my Elohim.
Of my Elohim. Read.
And he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my Elohim.
I will write upon him the name of my Elohim. Read.
And the name of the city of my Elohim.
Read.
Which is New Jerusalem.
New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem. Read.
Which cometh down out of heaven from my Elohim.
Which cometh down out of heaven. You see, read.
From my Elohim.
From my Elohim. Read.
And I will write upon him my new name.
My new name. Read.
He that hath an ear.
Let him hear. Let him hear. And that's what this is all about. It's just so much that you can't even begin to wrap your little mind around it because it's like it's coming so fast. But you do want to, like I said, you present your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto Yahshua. That's just your reasonable service. Come and learn about your Creator for yourself. You don't have to take anybody's word for it. And though it tarry, he said, wait for it. It will surely come. Because it's just like the children of Israel. They had been erecting this tabernacle, erected to take it down, erected to take it down. But then at the end of the day, when they got over here, up in the Canaan land, they had a place up there, right? So they done come from all down here. He gave them this tabernacle out here. Took on shape and form, right? Took this tabernacle on over, dismantled it. So what you think got to happen? You got to be dismounted, and then he put those things into the temple. So it's from tabernacle to temple. So we are tabernacles, but we are talking about the temple of Yahshua in us, and that's what is going on. I do hope that something have been said and that I didn't screw it around too bad for someone, but it's all about him making new things. He said, behold, I create a new heaven and a new earth. So if all these things have become new and you're over here where you have an eternal spirit in you, so in order for you to be here, then you got to be dismantled. That old man, that old flesh got to be done away with it. And when you get over there in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and it talks about what? 1 Corinthians 15 and 53, and I'll be there. Let's read that.
15 and 50?
53. Start.
53.
Because 2 Peter 3 and 13 is still talking about the new. Read, please.
For this corruptible must put on incorruptible.
This corruptible. It didn't say that corruptible. It said this corruptible must, it is a prerequisite, must put on incorruption. And this mortal must put on immortality. Immortality. So you have an eternal spirit dwelling in you, and what you need is a what? A body to go with it. That's what's going on now. I do thank Yahshua, and I thank the brethren for the patience of finding the scriptures and everything and reading for me. And with those words, I say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Our next speaker will be Dr. Olivia Dobbins.
I'd like to say good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And glad to see y'all. Glad to see y'all. And glad to be back in town. I do want to say that I'm bringing love from everywhere. I made a trip to Donaldsonville, which is outside, it's a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. And May from Chicago was in the area. So they sent love from Chicago, from the brethren in Donaldsonville. And we had class there Saturday, and some of the very things that we were dealing with, like himself, we was dealing with that last Saturday, and some of the very same scriptures. And then we got up Sunday morning and drove to Chattanooga for class, and some of the very same things that we went over there that Sunday this morning. And it just shows that the mediator, that this is a spiritual thing. Nobody got on the phone and said, okay, now this is the lineup, Captain. This touch on this was the scriptures. It's just a universal spirit. And for me, it's to show you that you don't even own your own testimony.
Right.
That it belongs to Yahweh. Get for me over in Exodus 4th chapter, Because to come into a knowledge and, we feel, the deep things of Yahweh. Well, you can't get the deep things if you don't understand the basic fundamental teachings.
The 4 and 1.
No, I want to go to 4 where Moses is talking about, we were talking about Moses say, well, I don't speak well.
4 and 10.
Mhm.
Yep.
And Moses said unto Yahweh, but O Yahweh, I am not eloquent.
Because see now, he's telling him you got to go back down into the land of Egypt. And he knows within himself what that entails.
Right.
That you're going to have to stand before Pharaoh, who is a living God on earth,
Yep.
and tell him, thus saith Yahweh. Now Yahweh has demonstrated with the Asher, the castor rod on the ground, it becomes a serpent. He picks it up by the tail, it becomes a rod again. The vessel talking about the snakes on the plain. They wish they could turn them into rods, stiffen them up. So, and then the sign of put your hand in your bosom, and you take it out, and it's leprous. And you put it back in, you take it out, and it's whole flesh, just like his other flesh. So it's showing Asher, I will be what I will to be. But yet still, Moses has seen this, but now he's offering up an excuse. I don't speak well. Read.
Neither heretofore.
Start it again.
But O Yahweh, I am not eloquent.
Go up just a little bit.
And Moses said unto Yahweh, up a little more? That it? Okay.
Okay.
And Moses said unto Yahweh, but O Yahweh, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant.
I didn't speak good before, and I don't speak good now. That's heretofore. Read.
But I am slow of speech, and of a slow tongue. And Yahweh said unto him, who hath made man's mouth?
Who has made man's mouth? Okay, now that's in the law. Go over to Jeremiah 1st chapter and just kind of speed read down. You know where I'm trying to get? Okay, tell them where it is then.
I think it's Jeremiah 1 and 8. The child, and I don't.
Jeremiah 1 and 8. Be not afraid of their faces.
Go up
a little
some.
bit. Start at 4 and come down.
All right. Then the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
Whoa, that sounds like foreknew, planned in advance,
Right.
predestined. Now we was Brother Rodney and I was kind of laughing with that. As I was saying how the vessels say, well, predestined, that's the big one. Okay, well, foreknew. Planned in advance then. Okay, it's kind of hard after all these years not to use predestined as a blanket.
Right.
But he foreknew. And you know what? Foreknew all of us.
Right.
And that's what we play Yahweh cheap. Because we can't. We assume he can't. That he's too busy. Like with the prophets of Baal, he's too busy doing something to micromanage. That's what we figured. Yahweh too busy to micromanage this creation. He just shoot the big shots. No, he shoot it all. Because all of it is nothing more than himself materialized. And see, we had got that debate years ago that Yahweh was just nothing. It's just an inorganic blob of, it was like heresy when I heard him saying it. Whoa, what you mean he's nothing? He's the ultimate source.
Right.
And if anything is conscious in the physical, that's because there's consciousness in the spiritual. And had a Romans 1:19 and 20 when all that debate was coming out. And it's called, I got it in my computer, cellular communication. And they have when you go to the health food store, they have sometimes products that are called homeopathic.
Okay.
Because homeopathic is the body keeping itself by nature keeping itself in order and regulated. That's why you have release of hormones at certain times and this and that at certain times. The body is regulating always. It's making intercession without anybody saying nothing. You know, you don't have to say, I need to wake up in the morning. But don't you know something chemically goes on and then you are allowed to wake up? The same thing. Sometimes we be chanting at night. Oh, your head just running like a gerbil in a wheel. And you be saying, oh, I wish I could go to sleep. I wish I could go to sleep. I wish I could go to sleep. And all of a sudden sleep just come. It's a hormone. What is it, serotonin? Just whoop, Yahweh just give you a slip you a Mickey. And you go to sleep. Now, if the body do all of this, if the cells, little as they are conscious and they are communicating with each other. So if I'm communicating with you and you're communicating with the one next to you and the one in front of me and behind, and then that one behind, you know, then you have a mass of communication, being aware of what is happening in the body. So that's just like unto Yahweh. Ain't nothing over there in the dark for Yahweh that he's not controlling. He is the ultimate. Ultimate. That means you can't go nowhere, no higher, no further. You can't get outside of him. Foreknew. Read.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew
Who formed
thee.
you in the belly? Then we want to know, well, I'm misshapen. I got this. I got that. Yahweh did that. Then, you know, it seems like that minister say, why do bad things happen to good people? It is simply that Yahweh is showing forth his power. You got normal and you got abnormal. Just like you got light and you got darkness. It's showing, Yahweh is showing forth who he is. You could say the ultimate normal by having what? Abnormal. Perfection, imperfection would be the opposite of it. So it's not that Yahweh didn't like the person. He's just simply showing forth his power and his purpose. When the vessels say, I will, I will be what I will to be. Read.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
In the belly. Now, they didn't know nothing about being formed, but the word came unto Jeremiah and said this. Read.
And believe thou camest forth out of the womb. I sanctified thee.
Oh my goodness, when you was read, I sanctified you, meaning I set you apart, or I had you, your purpose is already been declared. While you was just a mass or something in the womb. You wasn't even that yet, because you was just you was just a sperm and an egg. Boop, there you are. I got you covered. From that point of fertilization, I got you covered. Because many fertilized eggs have just slipped right on out of women. Many have gone through different various stages in the first and the second month, and boop, all they know is they think they're having a clotty period, and then miscarried a fetus. But oh, Yahweh said, Jeremiah. It's like somewhere else he said, I saw you over David. I saw your substance when you was yet unformed. And then we figure Yahweh hovering over. Read.
And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee.
I sanctified you before you was even come forth. Doesn't Yahweh talk about Esau have I loved, and no, Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated? What? And it said while they hadn't even done anything. They was yet in the womb, and Yahweh himself was those children. Because we figure he was controlling them like that. He was those children. And it say that when Esau came forth, Jacob had him by his heel, and that's the way they come forth. Esau, and they was fraternal twins too, not identical, because it say Esau was hairy, and Jacob was smooth. If they was identical, they'd have both been hairy and hairy. But he had him by the heel, and then later on we can see that typified the role that they would play, because Jacob was the supplanter, but really Esau sold his birthright for a belly full of old red porridge, some porridge. The whole thing is Yahweh set it up. Yahweh is executing it. Start that again there.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee.
Your purpose was already set up before you even came forth, and they held you up and shook you. Your purpose was already done. It's already done. It's that them ministers, and we don't like to use nothing that the ministers are using. It's because they just peeping in on the truth that Yahweh blinds us with. They holler about it's already done. They could, if you had a gun to them, they couldn't tell you how it's already done. But we can. Already done from the realm of eternity. Now it's just in playback mode when he steps out as Yahweh Elohim. Read.
And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
And not just that you was going to be pretty good, but that you was going to be a prophet unto the nations. Read.
Then said I, Yahweh Elohim.
This is Jeremiah speaking now.
Behold,
He got the nerve to speak up. Read.
Then said I, Yahweh Elohim. Behold, I cannot speak.
Like Yahweh don't know. Like, see, back with Moses, like Yahweh don't know. Read.
For I am a child.
I'm a child.
But Yahweh said unto me,
You gotta give us some comfort. Read.
say not I am a child.
Don't be saying all I got is a little testimony. All I got is just a little bit. Don't say that. Don't say that. Read.
For thou shalt go to all that I shall send
You
thee.
gonna go wherever he sends you, and you gonna stand with it and put your. They say put your all, ALL. I thought it was oil. Put your all. Whatever he give you, the little of the great, put your all on the altar.
Right.
Read.
That I shall send thee. And whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak.
Whatever come to mind. I'm gonna command you the same way I'm gonna be with your mouth. Yahweh said, "Who make man's mouth?" He could just said, "Whoop whoop whoop." No, not try it out. I talk with your word. Who made the mouth? Who was in control of it? It was set up from the. We can't fathom it from the before Moses came forth. His speech problem was set up. Why? Because he was going to have to speak to Moses. Moses then spoke to Aaron. And Aaron spoke. Yahweh said, I will make you, Moses, a El. Why? It's just like in prize fighting. You just can't come up through the ranks and have fought Ali. Man, you had to have some winnings under your belt.
Right.
And they call it to be a contender to fight. So look, if he's going to stand before Pharaoh, that everybody knew was a god, I got to make you a contender.
Okay.
See, so you are El, or the lawgiver. But look, you got to have a partner with you. And Moses is going to be your prophet. So you got the law and the prophets. And look, he didn't go down as just the law, because that'd be one-legged thing, you know. Aaron, he tells Moses, come now, therefore, and I will send you to Pharaoh. Ain't that phenomenal? We thought he was at the burning bush. But he didn't say, go down, Moses, like the song said. He said, come.
Right.
Wherever he is, Pharaoh is there. Come to me, and I'm going to send you to Pharaoh. So where was Pharaoh? In Egypt. And you say, oh, I don't know. See, Yahweh got two legs. Your brother Aaron is down there. He speaks well, and he's coming on up out of there. Now, he done appeared to Aaron, who is in the land of Egypt, and he tells him, go now from out of Egypt. Get up out of here and go meet your brother in the wilderness. Then the 80 and 83-year-old man, that seemed like that would Moses said, I can meet him halfway. No, he got to come out here because it takes the law and the prophets to set the captives free. That seemed like, my goodness, all of those details were set up from where? The realm of eternity. See, we play catch up. We have plan B. We have the morning after pill. We have abortions. We have all of this stuff, dangling participles, you know, because we done made mistakes in our life. But to Yahweh, he done planned it and declared it, and that's what it's going to be. Read. And we can't fathom that, because we can't plan a day.
Be not afraid of their faces.
Don't you be afraid of their faces.
For I am with thee to deliver thee. Saith
To do
Yahweh.
what? Okay, the vessel, I think the vessel was talking about salvation and how it is accomplished, the Messiah in you. Read that again.
Be not afraid of their faces. For I am with thee to deliver thee.
Now, the vessel used to love that. Exodus, I am come down. And what's the rest of that? To deliver. So how is salvation accomplished? You got to get him from out of the sky.
Okay.
Get him out of other people. You got to get him in you to save, for salvation. And as we were going over in Donaldsonville, this ain't the first time he saved.
Right. Right.
This is fulfilling
Right.
salvation. Then all the times that he was salvation and deliver, salvation and deliver. Then the big one, what we could say the institution of it was, came down to deliver them out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Just like that thing with those boys in that cave. An impossible task to get away from Pharaoh. When they sing that song, they say it was 600 chariots, 600 horsemen. Look, there was some more folk in that. Because see, you got the man who's driving the horse,
Yeah.
and then you got an archer standing there. So that's 2 in each chariot. That's how you get the 6 and the 6,
Okay,
or the
okay.
18.
Okay.
All of them went down into the Red Sea, and not one of them came up on the other side. Yahweh just cleaned house. The only thing washed up was they dead bodies. And I've seen it so often at home on Lake Erie. They have a fish kill. They probably have them in the Mississippi, and you just be amazed to just see the dead fish. They wash. They kind of go back. They wash, you know. And the tides start coming, and you start backing up. All this dead, just all down the shore on either side. That's the way Yahweh brought them Egyptians up out of that Red Sea, killed them all, drove them all in. That's what say, I have brought you out to take you in. He lured them in so that he could kill them foreknew. So that's who Yahweh delivered them from. Impossible odds. That's why they got out here to Red Sea. And Pharaoh and his host was behind them. I mean, that stuff had to be like thunder. The earth, you know, you watch them old westerns and stuff. And then the Indians is coming, there's 1,000 of them, you know, and then somebody got their ear to the ground. You know, the ground itself is just trembling from all of the foot and the hooves and the different things. They said, well, there are not enough graves down there in Egypt. It'd have been better. We seen the thing with Edward G. Robinson. It'd have been better if you'd have told them, I'll lead you back to Pharaoh. Look, impossible odds. Yahweh did a thing that had never been done. Heaped up the Red Sea. Just heaped up some water. Still, out of all of that and all that singing, it was external. That first covenant was external. And it played out just like our little fake love play out. All singing all them love songs, and then all of a sudden, what is it? The thrill is gone. The thrill is gone away. That's why the second covenant is what? It's going to be in you. And as Burbank would say, it's going to be a constant wellspring. You're going to be in love eternally. Read.
Be not afraid of their faces.
Don't be afraid of their faces. So when we give these testimonies, don't be afraid. Just simply give your testimony. Read.
For I am with thee to deliver thee.
With thee. So where does the Savior have to be to deliver?
In you.
In you. And what was that? To make of twain.
One new man.
And I thought about that, and I know the twain in that scripture is talking about there's neither Jew nor Gentile, bond nor free, male nor female. Make of twain one. And then that's why you've got 2 bones down here. then the knee bone, or the kneecap, which is the patella, which represents Yahshua the Messiah. Then coming up here, you got that big femur. That's one. Of the twain, Yahshua the Messiah has made one. But I'm going to tell you that twain is like this also. Me and Yahshua, like me and my shadow. Me and Yahshua. Adam in the garden brought all the animals to Adam to name. Yahweh Elohim did. We got Elohim and Adam and all the animals. You see, we keep on getting this twain here. You know, when it said Elohim waited until the cool of the day and spoke to Adam. We got twain. Adam hiding because it say he hid himself, and the Elohim over there somewhere. We got twain. But it isn't, it's one. And that's what we were laboring with in Donaldsonville, is that Elohim made man. That's why Moses is writing Genesis. And if he says man is made in the likeness and image of his creator, then he must have seen his creator. He must have seen the creator and the man that the creator made.
Okay.
Now it's not to scale. It's not to scale, because if heaven is his throne and earth is his footstool, then I don't care how tall that man was on the earth plane, that wouldn't have been to scale. But he saw this shape and form, and it was of a man. And then he made a physical body that was a perfect match for the shape and form. And then what did he do? He said he breathed into Adam's nostrils, and it wasn't like you see on TV, just bang it. And no, he put on the suit of clothes and that he made and breathed in. Try it next time you go to the doctor. My doctor be so like, here she go again. They say what? Breathe in. Blow out when they say breathe in.
Yeah.
And try it. Sometimes they look at you like, fool, don't you know the difference in breathe in and blow out? He got in him and breathed in. And what happened to Adam? He became a living soul. And they were as one. After the partaking of the fruit, Adam had willfully died for Eve. Because it was already set up. Willfully took that death. Because the purpose of Yahweh was, he told them, be fruitful and multiply. But as long as they were still in that heavenly state, that innocent state, there wasn't no offspring there. So it had to be a coming down to bring forth offspring. So who could take it down? But the one that our parents say, I brought you in, they tell you that I'm going to take it out. This is my house. What this is, so it's Yahweh's house. He's the one that brought it down. Willfully died. So what happened when Adam partook of the fruit? Something happened. They had been in that garden, according to say Moses' vision, 40 days and 40 nights. But the point is, they were in that garden. At the point that they partook of the fruit, something changed instantaneously. They knew they were naked. What? Now they got an eye full of flesh. That spiritual unity with Yahweh was severed. And the one became twain. And that's where we are today. Twain. Me and Yahweh. Yahweh, and I ain't throwing at nobody, because we all had to go through the same development stages. Things be so bad, I'm talking about me, you imagine in your mind, you just trying to sit at the throne of Yahweh, with your head on his leg, oh Yahweh, help me. That's twain. That's twain. That's him on the throne and you. The unity is, you see Yahshua the Messiah living a life in you. Colossians, I'll just quote it, Colossians says, the Yahshua with you,
in you,
beside you,
in
you
the only.
is the only hope of glory. With those words, I thank you.
Hallelujah.
This concludes our class lecture for today. Let us stand for our doxology. Our doxology is taken from Jude, verse 24 and 25. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling and present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise Elohim, our Savior, through Yahshua the Messiah, our Sovereign, belong glory and majesty, dominion and power, both before all time and now and ever. Let us all say, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Cannot hinder